to give you an example, I was 28 when I was leading a team of analysts in Nigeria. I was the youngest.
How many analysts?
5 or 6.
5.
When I joined my current firm, FBN, I was the youngest person who was employed into I guess what they call associate director role. And I was the youngest for years. Just because of this sort of, you can play two cultures well. Because if you're coming from just purely, I mean, there are people who are more UK bent and they just could not function well with the Niger setup because it frustrated them too much. Things that should frustrate me, I kind of put them, I have to rank the frustration sources in Nigeria. Anytime I'm traveling to Nigeria, as I get to the airport, I basically lower my, as we call it, gra-gra-ness. Just chill.
Yeah, just chill. Right at the airport, you start.
Just
basically.
chill.
Right,
because if you don't chill, you're not going to get the results you want. What you want is to have a decent trip, tick all the boxes. If that means that sometimes you have 2-hour days in traffic, that's it. The days when it's 15 minutes, praise God for that day. But don't let the 2 hours make you feel like, the world's going to collapse, because you will not achieve what you want to achieve that day. So understanding those two cultures and being able to be humble, as you said before, is very, very important to just have a meaningful, peaceful existence.
So the beautiful thing about what you just said is that it translates between both directions. Right? Yeah. This is probably going to show up when we talk about marriage too. Any form of relationships, right? Yeah. It goes between both. If you're coming from this angle to this angle, humble yourself.
Yeah.
Active listening. If you're coming from this angle to this angle, humble yourself. There are going to be things you just don't know. You don't know what you don't know, right? For example, why would respect be different from respect? Exactly. Let's start from there, right?
Exactly. No, I completely agree,
Yeah, and that's why I think that was the greatest thing about this book. This book wasn't about judging Nigerians on how they treat kids. It wasn't about, yes, a lot of traumatic experiences, right? But the idea is that I'm actually guessing that writing this book was a form of healing for you yourself.
My wife would say that.
She would say that, right? You know, I think that we have quite a bit of things alike. We have a few things in common. I suppress any form of me feeling like a victim. I do too. Like, you're not going to tell me I'm a victim. I probably will let you pass just so I don't want to argue, right?
Yeah.
But I will never, ever feel like a victim from an emotional standpoint. Physical, that's a different topic entirely, right? But if you look at that, there are kids, let's be frank, there are kids that probably haven't traced or will never trace their trauma in life back to that period in school. Like, somebody called me Suberu. My uncles have called me Suberu, blah, blah, blah. Now, most Nigerians have a level of thicker skin than probably the rest of the world, in my opinion, right? But there's some type of kid that those words are heavy on them, and they carry that, and that affects their self-esteem and stuff like that, you know. So that's, that's interesting, man. So the Bible study and the wallet, Wale, your big brother, Senior Wale, right? Walex and the 10 naira. That story right there. That story. See, you guys taking off from school and leaving for Ife.
Yeah.
In a bus, you know. Yeah. I would have never suspected that ever happened. But I have similar story. Literally me walking across the whole Akure town because the person that was supposed to pick me up, so they had, like, you know how parents, you have the similar thing, how parents will arrange between each other and they pick up. So I went to St. Peter's demonstration. You know how we say demonstration, right? You know, right? We call it demonstration or right? It's actually called St. Peter's. We actually call it St. Peter's demonstration in Akure. So So I went to St. Peter's, I think with Dayo Ademuluyi, who was my senior, because I jumped 6'2", right?
Right.
I jumped from my 6'2", with Awoniyi was my classmate. He jumped
Okay,
6.
okay.
Yeah. Let me see if I can. I think Niyi too. Niyi might have been my senior, I think. Tayo and Kenny Adebayo, St. Peter's, quite a lot of people that I ended up seeing at Unity again. Remember, I haven't seen them for 3 years between JSS 1, 2, 3, right?
Yes, okay.
Yeah. So we have this, this arrangement where they were supposed to pick me up, and then they take all of us home, and they arrange it like that. So I think one of the parents worked at the Ministry of Works. So they used official vehicle for the ministry. They picked us up. So this is always picked us up, by the way, this particular driver. One day he decided to say, hey, bring your books. This is the trauma that you take kids through beyond just the school now. This is across board in the society in general. This is how evil, mean people can be, right? Say, give me your book, let me see. Okay, that's not your name, I can't carry you. He's always carried us, by the way. Wow. And he checked, and he took the two people he knew, I think 2 or 3 people he knew that he worked for them, even though he had carried all of us all along. He decided to carry them, and then he left me. So this would be easily a 20 minutes drive between that school and my house.
And you're less than 11. You're 10, 9.
No, 20 minutes drive because of.
But I mean, your age at the time.
Oh no. Oh, at that time I was probably 7, 8 years old.
Okay.
This was primary school. I had to be in primary 3 or so at that time. And he left a couple of us there. I was by myself. I knew it was being by myself because my brother had not come into primary 1 at that time. So it must be primary 3. My brother came into primary 1 when I was in primary 4. So anyway, I had to basically there's no way to call nobody. That's a different world at that time. Anything like that. So I was stranded. So if it's a 20 minutes drive, imagine how long the walk is going to be. I literally walked all that walk. Now, this is a buttered kid. Accurate standard, right? I walked all the way through. So basically, when you want to do that kind of walk, you don't know any better. You're going to walk the driving route. There's probably shortcuts walk to the house, right? But I walked the whole thing, and then this is the second time this will happen. The first time, I just sat down there. I was too little. I was just crying. And my mother came. She came in a taxi, picked me up, and said, "Now, if I don't see her, you come again. Stop crying." And she took me home. The second time, I was like, no, I'm not going to be the one crying today. I started walking, right?
Yeah.
So similar to your scenario. So you can see how I could relate to a lot of the stories, right?
Yeah, I mean, this book is not... It's unique because it's me, but actually it's one strand of 1,000 stories that are similar. Yeah. So everybody has this. It's the same. You would have had your induction. You'd have had your rules of engagement when you collided with school or something else or whatever. And then the third chapter is rat race, where it's just any way to just survive academically, your mental health in school, food, water, whatever. And then last one, right? Last one was I can't remember the title I gave the last one, but it's to do with, you think you're now set and you're the senior in school, and your cousin child is actually, you think everything is fine. Yeah. But somehow Nigeria school had a way of humbling you and showing you that it's more powerful than you. With the experiences that you find yourself either.
It wasn't just you.
It's not just about you. Yeah.